Andrew Cross for governor. California's government is a monster, crushing us with jails, choking our economy with taxes. I'm here to slay the beast. Liberty is life. Be bold and vote gold. Paid for by the Andrew Cross campaign.
Hello and welcome back to Libertarian Los Angeles. I'm Sean Osborne, and today Lars Masted is joining us to talk about Prop 50. How's it going, Lars?
It's going good. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Nice.
So I hear you're one of the people who's been nice and vocal about this Prop 50. You want to talk to the people a little bit about what it is for those who are unaware?
Yeah. So essentially, I think you have to go back a little bit to understand kind of how we got here. And that is that, gerrymandering has been going on for a long time. And it started with a guy with the last name Jerry. And the press at the time, the district that he carved out looked like a salamander. And so the press called it the gerrymander. And that's how we ended up with the term gerrymandering, basically. And essentially, they either stack districts or they crack districts and basically put groups of people together or split groups of people apart in order to make the district uncompetitive. They've gotten so good at it that they have something like a 90% incumbent reelection rate. There's just literally no competition at all anymore. And the big piece of that is this gerrymandering, stuff. And so California, used to be, when they first implemented gerrymandering wasn't a thing when the founding fathers got together and founded the country. They didn't think we should rig the elections and
Right.
make this stuff all good. So, but at some point, the state legislatures took it upon themselves to draw the maps in their favor. Whoever was in control of the state legislator could then draw the map and make it so that their team, had a more than their fair share of the districts, essentially, is what it comes down to. So as an example, in California, you have something like 46% Democrat and 19% Republican. I think those are the numbers. I could be off. You double check that. But essentially, the Republicans have like a 9% of the actual districts. So they basically have 50% less districts than they would have if it was completely equal, right? If it was proportional representation. But they would all lose a lot if we had proportional representation, because 30% of Californians are independent or third party, and they're literally not represented at all. So one in three Californians are not represented, and that's a huge thing. So essentially, in 2000, I want to say 8, in 2000, I think it was 2008, California had a Proposition 11, which the voters passed. And that proposition was to end state gerrymandering and to enact an independent redistricting commission that would be made up of Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And so this was supposed to make it more fair. And a lot of places in the country say we have one of the better rule sets, even though it's still skewed, and even though the Democrats still have an outsized share of what they should have, it's fairer. And then I want to say in 2010 or 12, 2010, Prop 20 was another proposition that we passed, and that basically codified independent redistricting commissions into our Constitution of California, and said that if you want to try to gerrymander again in California or change this, you can't just do it via the legislature. You have to do it via a vote. Okay. And so what's going on is Trump called up Texas and a few other states and said, I want you to do redistricting now. And typically redistricting happens every 10 years at the census. Okay.
Mhm.
But Trump wanted to do it now because he realized he could pick up 5 seats if he gerrymanders Texas, and that it would be fairly easy since Abbott is a Republican in control and they have control of the state house. They can just redraw the maps and give the Republicans some more seats.
Mhm.
And so Newsom freaked out and realized that the Republicans are going to basically rig the election, and so Newsom's response to the Republicans rigging the election is he said we have to rig the election harder, and so if it was up to him, he would have just passed. He would have just had his legislature pass a law that changed the redistricting, right? Allowed them to redraw the maps. But because we already voted on it twice and already passed the California citizens, including the Democrats, that we didn't want gerrymandering, he had to go to a vote. Well, as you know, we don't have a vote this year. It's 2025. It's an off year. There's no vote. So he called a special election. And he called it at the very last possible minute, like a week or two before they wouldn't be able to do it. And because they have to have time to print the ballots and get all this, all the stuff out there. And it's costing California taxpayers $200 million to do this special election because Gavin Newsom didn't want Texas to be the only ones that got to gerrymander its citizens.
Yeah, two wrong. He thinks two wrongs make a right, I guess.
Yeah, and so we're spending $200 million to basically overturn 2 votes that we already had. Right? We've already decided this twice, and if I talk to people online about Prop 50, they base their argument is, well, have you seen what Texas is doing? And I was like, so your argument is, but Mom, Johnny gets to do it.
Right, yeah.
Right? It's like, yeah, and you know what Mom says about that is, I don't give a crap what Johnny says. This is my house. This is my rules. This is the where I live, and we're not going to rig the game, right?
Right.
And so, this thing is supposed to be like a stay for like 3 cycles where they get to rig the system for 3 cycles. I mean, it's just totally ridiculous. And then I think one of the things that rubs me the worst about all this is Newsom and his crew in Sacramento got to name the bill, right? And let me just you'll love this. The bill is and these guys do this all the time. They just basically make up something and then sell the people, gaslight them, and propaganda them into oblivion. So the name of the bill to gerrymander California and rig the system is, are you ready for it?
I can't wait.
The Election Rigging Response Act. Yes, the answer to rigging the elections is to rig the elections harder. So yeah, rig me hardy, Daddy Newsom, I guess, Yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
basically these guys are, and this is a thing that for libertarians, for third-party candidates, for independents, it basically completely silences our vote. It just makes it so it's impossible to have any kind of competition. In California we have the open jungle primary, which is awesome, but then they cut us off at the knees with the top 2 system, right?
Yeah.
If we had open jungle primaries and top 5 or top 10, that would be amazing, right? But they've done that. And there's some other ways kind of to fix some of this gerrymandering stuff, is to have multi-member districts, proportional representation, so that essentially, if you're if you're Democrats and you get 40% of the vote, you get 40% of the seats. If you're Republicans and you got 20%, you get 20% of the seats. And if you're Libertarians and you got 5% of the vote, you get 5% of the seats. And if you're Independents, those people get a seat, right? And then that way we would have more more competition. We'd have more voices. We wouldn't just have the duopoly voices only, right?
Mhm.
And so I started a nonprofit called the Voting Rights Foundation, and that nonprofit is basically about educating people on gerrymandering, on proportional representation, on getting ballot access for candidates and that sort of thing. Because for me, and the reason I'm so against this is that first of all, I hate rigged systems, and this is clearly rigging the system
Oh yeah.
even harder, right? So I want open and fair elections. And the Democrats and the Republicans all talk about how they want free and fair elections, right?
Right.
But they really only want free and fair elections when they're not winning.
Yeah.
when they're winning, they're fine with it being rigged, right? Like they're
Yeah.
like, and they're all good with that. And so, I've been telling people, if you vote yes on Prop 50, you're basically, it's a yes vote for gerrymandering, that you agree that rigging the system is correct. And whatever other argument you have is kind of out the window, because that's literally what you're doing, is you're voting for rigging the system. And so how could you ever come back after that and say, oh, the system was rigged, or the vote was not right, or something like that? Because you're just basically being a hypocrite, right? uh,
Yeah.
and so for me, my whole goal is that we have to get more voices and more choices. We have to have a competitive market in American politics, because currently 1 in 5 Americans believes that violence is the answer to our political problems.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've all seen that in the last couple months, that that's escalating, right?
Mhm.
I mean, and it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, independent. Everybody's pissed off right now. And no, and the reason is because the two-party system thrives on division. They
Mhm.
fundraise off division, so it's in their best interest to promote that division, right? And so we're just going to continue to spiral. So for me, it's critical that we have electoral reform. If we don't have electoral reform, um, I think the end result is we end up in a civil war. And
Yeah, it's not looking good. That's for sure. I
and
mean,
I don't want that. I think that that's like the worst possible outcome, you
yeah.
know, for America. So I'm fully against that. And yeah, this Newsom and crew, part of it too is he's pandering for his presidential run in
Yeah.
2028.
Right.
We all know that that's coming, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
he has to look like he's fighting the evil Trumpster, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I'm no fan of Trump, so it's like I just both sides are bad, equally bad. Gerrymandering's bad when it's done in Texas. It's bad when it's done in California. And the answer to gerrymandering isn't to gerrymander harder.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me. Like, Republicans act like it's only Democrats that do this kind of thing, and Democrats act like it's only Republicans. I mean, we had the city council here in Los Angeles. I mean, a couple of them had to resign because, it came out that they were trying to divide the black community in half to limit their votes and empower, Hispanic votes and everything.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So they were doing the same thing down here
Yeah.
to people of color and everything, but they act like, oh, they're the saviors of everybody, right? They're the ones who really care about civil liberties and stuff like that. Really,
Yeah.
all they care about is groupthink and putting one person or one group's rights above another's and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's just winning is everything to them.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like most politicians that are in the RNC and the DNC put party over people.
Yeah.
Always. Like you just see it every day. Like they're not working for the people. They're working for donors. And they're working for these two corporations which run our country, the Republican National Committee and the Democrat National Committee. They're private companies, and somehow these private companies have figured out how to run our elections and run our entire country, and we let it happen. And it's
Mhm.
like, and majority of people are fine with it, as long as their team is winning. And
Yeah.
it's an uphill battle to try to educate people on their loss of their freedoms and of their ability to be represented and have a voice in American politics. And most people are silenced right now. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, like before you even head to the polls, 70% of the time in America, your vote is already chosen for you. Your vote is already decided because of winner take all laws.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, how would how does that proportional voting thing go? Like, would that be kind of like how they do Parliament and stuff in England?
Correct. Yeah, it's basically you have the vote, and then uh, let's say California has 50, 54, 52, 50 something districts,
Mhm.
yeah, congressional districts. And so what one option would be to have, say, 10 districts with 5 people in each one, right? And
Mhm.
then as you're, instead of voting for one person, you vote for 5 people, right? And then the it's kind of split up by party and by independent. And so if like I said before, if the Republicans have 30%, Democrats have 40%, they get their proportion, and then the other 10% goes to people who are independent or third party. And it sort of works that way. And so it just gives you, like you said, in a more parliamentary kind of system, but just basically allows for more voices, right, and more decision makers. And I think it'd be good to have um, groups of people that could check the other two parties, right? That could be
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, this one's totally wrong, or that one's fine, and we'll go with that, or whatever. Because I feel like that would be it would help with the ramrodding that we get right now, where we completely flip parties, and then they just shove through a bunch of stuff that everybody else hates, and then
Mhm.
it flips back, and it's all authoritarian, all of it. It's like, we're gonna tell you how to run your life and live your life, and as soon as we get back in power, we're gonna change things and make it better for us and worse for you. And it's really getting, like, we were talking about, and it's very has a lot of animosity in it, right? People are just really pissed off and want the other team to suffer now. You're seeing that more and more, and that, like I said, that division comes from people not feeling represented, and not being heard.
Yeah, and people on they talk about the cancel culture on the left, but the right has the same thing. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not into canceling anything. If
Yeah.
someone has a different opinion, that's fine. I don't need to try to destroy their life or have their platform taken down or anything like that. I just don't listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting. I was pointing that out, that the right has embraced cancel culture,
Mhm.
and then I just said everybody's canceled now.
Yeah.
Everything's canceled. And it's like, I've always been as a business person, I've always, in my businesses, I always told all the people that work for me that as a company, we weren't taking any political stands at all.
Hmm.
Because you're going to lose half of your business if you take a
Yeah.
political stand. And it's like, it's interesting watching Disney right now, right? Because Disney, was kind of seen as a left-leaning operation,
Hmm.
and then they canceled the talk show host there, and then that pissed off the left. So the right was pissed off at Disney, and now the left's pissed off at Disney. And so now they're stuck with nobody because they went totally political. It's like, if you're going to go political, you almost have to just completely own that, right? Like you can't go one way and then flip flop or the other, because then no one's going to go see your stuff, right? And so I'm waiting for Netflix to piss off the left. That's the next one, because they pissed off the right, and they like to take political stands, and so does YouTube, right? And
Yeah.
so I think it's just bad for business. People and business should not be involved in politics. I mean, it may be on the level of their employees donating to parties or to politicians. That should be fine. But honestly, corporations should pretty much stay out of it. And the thing is that our government has uh, created a system where uh, they use so much authoritarian regulations on corporations that corporations are forced to become somewhat political, to
Right.
lobby to get rid of the regulations, right? And you see that right now with all these corporations sucking up to Trump that used to suck up to Biden. Is the same, it was like flip flopper Zuckerberg, or
Yeah.
flip flopper Bezos, or so I mean, Musk was seen as a left leaning green savior, and then he went over on the right, and now it's like everybody's flip flopping, and it's literally because business is authoritarian. I mean, government is authoritarian, and they force the business to kiss the ring of whoever's in power in order to be able to stay in business, which, as a capitalist, that's disgusting to me, right?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have to kiss any ring to stay in business. You
Mhm.
should be able to go about your business and let the market dictate whether you're successful or not the
Yeah.
government. And right now, I know this isn't about Prop 50, but right now, you see that it's basically total grifting going on in Washington. There's no, like, insider trading is not even a thing right now. Everybody's doing insider trading.
Yeah.
Democrat, Republican, they're just buying everything because the regulators that would oversee that are, I don't know if they're on vacation or maybe they all got laid off in the shutdown or something. But right now, the thing is if you and I did that, though, we'd go to prison.
Yeah.
But when Nancy Pelosi does it, it seems to be fine. And when Donald Trump Jr. Does a big trade, I guess that's fine too. But you and I, we're not allowed to do that. It's almost like qualified immunity for politicians.
Yeah. Yeah. Really is. Yeah. What would you say? Because I like talking about regulations and stuff with people, like as a business owner, because the way I see regulations, it's really just legal loopholes for companies to
Yeah.
get through with things. But how do you explain that to people better than me?
Well, I'm not sure that I'm an expert at explaining it, but you basically hit the nail on the head. Is when you're in business and a new regulation comes down the pipe, um, you have to figure out how to deal with it. You have to figure out, well, how are we going to comply with this? How are we going to, still stay in business even though this new regulation has come down? Sometimes it's really draconian and it's almost impossible for you to stay in business, and so that's when you're like, oh, well, I'll spend all my profits trying to lobby somebody to make this go away because otherwise I'm out of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, I think that it's interesting. There's always the argument about we need regulations to protect the environment or to, like, keep the commons open, all those kind of things. But I think that if we allow for corporations to be held accountable for their misdeeds, then we don't need regulations. It's kind of like gun laws, right? It's
Right.
like, um, you basically put these regulations on everybody, and you're like, you can't own this type of firearm, you can't own that type of firearm, and it's this, like, blanket thing. And instead of doing that, you just say, oh, like, you killed somebody with a gun, so you don't get to have a gun. Right. But only you, right? Like, not everybody else, not these blanket things or whatever, right? So, it's like and people just find ways around the regulation. It's just like the same thing. It's like guns. Okay, so you're gonna ban this type of gun. Well, I'm gonna print this type of gun. You're gonna ban this type of clip. I'm gonna do this other kind of clip, or whatever it is, right?
Uh-huh.
You're going to ban this kind of silencer, so I'll use this other kind of silencer or whatever, right? And so, and it was the same thing when we do prohibition on things. We're going to ban alcohol in the 30s, right?
Mhm.
And no one can sell alcohol anymore, and it's horrible, bad. We're so bad we're making a constitutional amendment to make it so you can't drink alcohol. And so what did people do? Well, they made speakeasies and they
Yep.
created rum runners, and their black market sprung up. And you can't regulate people from voluntarily interacting.
Mhm.
there's just no way to really do it unless you have a police person on every single person, which is just not feasible, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it basically just morphs the market. It dislocates the market, and the market just shifts to still meet whatever demand that there is, right? There was still plenty of demand for alcohol when they when they shut down alcohol, right? There's still
Yeah.
plenty of demand for firearms when they tell you you can't have firearms. And so the people who want firearms are going to get them. The people who want drugs are going to get them. You government can't stop any of that stuff.
Right.
Their government is more reactionary. They tend to come after the damage is done and then
Hmm.
pretend like they're going to clean up the mess, and usually they make more of a mess out of it
Sure do.
than they do cleaning it up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's I mean, I guess it's kind of like this Prop 50. So the mess is that Texas is gerrymandering, and so the government's solution in California is to gerrymander harder.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a solution, guys.
No.
I
No.
hate to tell you, but that's not it. That's not it, right? I
Yeah.
love that the Harry Brown quote. Government's great at breaking your legs and then handing you a crutch and saying we're here to help.
Right.
I love that one. I mean,
Yeah.
it explains it all in a nutshell, right?
It really does.
Yeah.
It amazes me how many people are championing this. I can't even say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But how have you like being out talking to people, how have you seen people's reaction to this?
Well, it's mostly just literally if I say something like if you vote for yes on 50, you're voting for gerrymandering, and their response is always, well, Trump did it. And it's like, like that's literally what it is. And I'm like, I don't really care what Trump or Texas does. I live in California. I care what my state does.
Yeah.
And my state is trying to screw me right now. And so that's it. And they don't really have they're that's their only comeback. Their
It
only
really is.
comeback is we got to stop Trump. It's not even anything else. It's like, oh, you don't understand. This election is too important not to rig it.
Mhm.
Like that's where we've gotten in. Yeah, I think I am hopeful. I see a lot of people saying no. I see Democrats saying no.
Yeah, I've seen some. Yeah,
Um,
that's encouraging.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful that that the two votes that we already had on this, people sent a pretty clear message that they don't want gerrymandering, and that enough message gets out there to do that. I know that the Libertarian Party is against gerrymandering and against Prop 50, and so that's good. And there's League of Women Voters. There's a bunch of Democrat-run leaning institutions that are against Prop 50 and against gerrymandering, and as well they should be, right? And
Yeah.
I would love to see all gerrymandering ended in America. There's a number of ways that you can use computer algorithms to pick the districts and make them more fair and more equal and let. I mean, I don't know. You can go on. There's a website you can go on and you can type in where you live, and then you can look at what your district looks like. And my district, I live in the Santa Cruz area, and my district goes all the way down the coast to Pismo Beach,
Hmm.
and then it turns inland and goes towards Bakersfield. And I'm like, I don't have nothing in common with the people living in the Central Valley, and I'm not sure
Right.
why I'm in the same district as them, other than And then the thing is, what's really interesting is if you zoom in on these maps, um, it's literally carves out houses, right? You can zoom all the way in and you can see which house, and like they're literally like they'll put this guy in and this guy's out and this guy's in and this guy's out when you get really granular. And you're like, that's amazing that they like literally got down to the house detail, and we're like, well, we need five more guys. Can we cut five more guys in here and pull five more guys out of there? And they can literally, since you have three or four uh, uh, districts around you, they can kind of pull and massage each district so that it's just perfect. And
Uh-huh.
and then it's then if you try to run somebody against them, it's impossible because they have locked up. It's just completely locked up. And if you would have just had even the districts are something like 700,000 people. That's I think what a generalized district in America is right now. Each district represents 700,000 people. But if you did it by counties, if you said Monterey County and Santa Cruz County and this other county, those three make up 650,000 people or whatever, and now we got to get 50,000 more people. Okay, well, that's a nice, geographic area that's congruent, right? And, county lines don't change very much because counties want to protect their own little fiefdom, right? And so it's like, why can't we just divide it up in counties? And even that would be better than the system that we have right now, which is like, why is my county cut in half? Half of my county is in a different district than another. Like, how's that representation, right? I'm represented locally here by city council and board of supervisors and all that kind of stuff. But somehow, when it comes to national, half my county is represented by somebody totally different that might have completely different interests than what would be good for my county, right? And it's probably the same with where you live too. And it's with 50 districts, there's a lot of people in California that are split up from their neighbors. That, like, literally, if you live on the line of one of these things, your neighbor across the street could be in a totally different district. But why would that be, right? Like,
yeah, like they got different problems.
When you have lines like that, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be close. But at least if you lived in the correct county or something like that, that'd be good. So there's a lot of things that we could do to make our election system more transparent, more fair, and more of a free market. I'm a capitalist, so I like free market competition. And I don't think we have competition right now in American politics. It's, like I said, 70% locked up. I would love to see us have competition because I think competition breeds excellence. And clearly, we don't have excellent leaders right now. So, if the more government you have, the more mediocre it gets. And then I think that's what we've gotten is they've gerrymandered us into mediocre politicians, basically.
Yeah. We laugh about it, but that's probably to keep from crying about how bad the damn situation is here.
100%.
100%. So, you want to tell people where they can get more information about this, or where you got some information online and everything for them?
Yeah, well, I know that the Libertarian Party of California has a web page up about Prop 50, and then obviously you can just Google stuff. But we are also have some educational information on gerrymandering at votingrightsfoundation.org, and it's nonpartisan, and it's not lobbying or legislation. It's literally just education purposes only, just to try to get people to understand that their elections are rigged through gerrymandering. And it's one of our positions that we take, that we want to end gerrymandering in America to make politics more fair and equal for everybody.
That's great. What about any social media or anything like that?
Sure. You can follow me on the Voting Rights Foundation has a Facebook page and a Twitter account. And so you can just type in Voting Rights Foundation, you'll find it. And then you can follow me at Libertarian Lars on X, is usually where I'm hanging out these days the most. So.
Well, I definitely appreciate you being out there and being vocal about this and getting the word out there. I think more people need to understand exactly how corrupt all this stuff is, and just going along with it, because you dislike the other guy is just, anybody who was raised by somebody that was, somewhat civilized understands that two wrongs don't make a right.
That's right. It's pretty clear. And you point that out to them, and they literally just say, well, this election's too important not to rig the election.
Yeah, I do.
It's like, okay, I don't know how to combat that. Like you're in groupthink, and you would you, I don't know. That's how Civil War starts, right? Like that's basically, we're almost there. Yeah. We're almost there. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to ask you real quick was, having run for office, tell people what it's like to run as non-Republican or a Democrat. I don't know what it's like for independents as a libertarian, uh,
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, it was I thoroughly enjoyed it. I learned a lot from running. But the outcome was essentially this Voting Rights Foundation is that I realized that it we can run all the candidates we want, and until ballot access is secured, till ballot access is the same regardless of party or affiliation, until we get rid of winner take all laws, until we get rid of the that in the electoral college, until we have actual representation, it's not going to matter running candidates, because they've rigged the system so hard that it's basically impossible for a third party or independent candidate, to win, especially the presidency. The presidency there's zero chance that an independent or third party can win the presidency. They've rigged it that hard.
Yeah.
And people will be like, oh no, it could happen. I mean, it's like you saw the money that Kennedy threw at his campaign. You saw how much Ross Perot threw at his campaign. You saw, there's been a few independents over the years that had real resources and real money, and they just weren't able to get even ballot access, because the issue with ballot access is, the Republicans and the Democrats make the rules for ballot access, and they're allowed to make the rules different if you're an independent and third party. So they'll be like, oh, the requirement for you to get on the ballot is this many signatures, but the requirement for us to get on the ballot is we're just automatically there because we're special, right? And so, and the thing is, if your recourse to that is to sue, right? That's your recourse, is to sue and say that's not right, or this law is unfair, and you challenge that in the court system. Well, unfortunately for all of us, the court system is partisan now. The court system is appointed judges from the party that's in power in your state, essentially.
Yep.
There's some judges that are elected, but majority of judges are appointed, and they're appointed by their party. And so they're sitting there, they see this case come through that's going to change the power of their party, the party that they're beholden to. Are they going to rule to limit the party's power? Not if they want to get a new position higher up. I mean, it'd be the kiss of death if they ruled against their party. They'd be like, yeah, you're never getting a higher judgeship ever again because you ruled against our party, and we're the ones that decide whether you get to sit there or not, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
the parties control the judges. The judges are your only recourse. How are you ever supposed to change the laws if they have it completely corrupted? And that's essentially where we're at. So that's what I learned by running, was that the system is so rigged that it's literally impossible for you to actually get in and do any actual change, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, then we have to switch to unrigging just the election system. Like, that's what we have to focus on, because if we don't do that, nothing's ever going to change. Like, we have to crack ballot access laws. We have to get proportional representation. We have to get rid of winner take all laws. We have to get rid of gerrymandering. We have to get rid of these power structures that keep these guys in place and keep them in power. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to get what we got, because they've sealed it up. It's pretty much, unless they kill somebody or they like get caught in some insane scandal or sex scandal or something like that, they never leave an office unless they want to, right?
Right.
That's why you got these people that have been there 30, 40, 50 years. It's like insane. I mean, that's why I was always pumping for term limits on Congress, because I don't think it should be a lifelong situation. It should be you're of service to your country, and then you get the hell out of there, right?
Yeah.
Let somebody else do it. So yeah, that's essentially what I learned, is that it's rigged. We are not winning until we change the rule set, and so that's what my Voting Rights Foundation is trying to do. And I have another another organization that is for lobbying and legislation, and I'm trying to put through legislation to change ballot access laws around the country. We've drafted legislation for all 50 states. We've ranked all 50 states on their level of ballot access. And so we've been talking to state legislatures all across the country, and we get mixed results. Some of the legislators think it's great that the elections are rigged, and then some of them want to actually change things and do what's right and make it better. So it's a challenging thing, and so it seems to be hard to get people to get really excited about it. It's pretty nerdy stuff, right? So it's hard to get donations. So pretty much I've been funding it myself, which is fine, but I got to figure out a way to get it to be able to sustain itself without me endlessly paying for it all. I've put several $100,000 into it so far, and I'm scheduled to put several $100,000 more. But I think it's an important thing. I think that somebody has to do it. And I don't really see anybody else really actively doing it too much. There's some people that are sort of doing what we're doing, but no one's actually doing the thing that we're doing. So in the whole country, I'm the only one right now that's actively pushing for ballot reform in all 50 states.
Well, I sure do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love having you on here to talk about this and educate people on it, because I think they're woefully misinformed about what's really going on in the world, country, and the damn state.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, I really appreciate it. Can you think of anything that you'd like to get out there that I failed to ask about?
No, I think we covered it. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to talk to people about it. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. And well, what day is the election, by the way?
It's going to be the November 4th or whatever the normal election day is. Yeah, you can look it up. The ballots have just gone out. People are going to start getting their ballots here in a hot minute. And so yeah, it's. I'm hopeful that it gets defeated, but I'm also realistic that there's a pretty good chance that will go through. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see, I guess.
Wait and see. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you very much. And
thank you.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody for listening to Libertarian Los Angeles. I want to encourage you to get active in your local Libertarian Party on the county level, on the state level. We can definitely do a lot more locally to help out these kind of things, get elected on local levels and that kind of stuff, and build us a structure to help make change. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Mad Sean Osborne on X. On Facebook, just Sean Osborne. My music page is This Might Make You Mad on Facebook and Instagram. I guess I do the podcast on Instagram on This Might Make You Mad as well. But follow Liberty Blues on Facebook. And you can check out my latest album, Free People, wherever you stream music. And on Spotify, there's also a group of libertarian musicians who have a playlist called Indie Terry, and they got like 3 playlists on there. I would encourage people to listen to it, help support libertarian musicians, pick out a few of them that you like in particular and add them to your regular playlist and really help out with the algorithms for people. There's all kinds of different styles of music represented there. So please check it out, share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next episode of Libertarian Los Angeles.
Andrew Cross for governor. California's government is a monster, crushing us with jails, choking our economy with taxes. I'm here to slay the beast. Liberty is life. Be bold and vote gold. Paid for by the Andrew Cross campaign.